we today are waking up to, and there's no so-called Negro married to a white woman that can stand up and say that he speaks for the black mass.
Her father calls me boy.
We're black guys that date white girls. Of course I lost everything in the divorce.
Fuck! We're black guys who date white girls. Of course I'm a D1 athlete.
We're black guys that date white girls. Of course I let her say the N-word when we're at home.
We're black guys who date white girls. Of course I refer to it as the N-word.
We're black guys that date white girls. Of course I need someone to obey me.
We're black guys who date white girls. I've been to Bonnaroo at least a dozen times.
We're black guys that date white girls. My breath, no matter what, stinks.
We're black guys who date white girls. Of course I got fired as Kang the Conqueror in the MCU.
We're black guys that date white girls. Of course she tells her friends it's big.
We're black guys who date white girls. I've been called everything from sellout to Uncle Ruckus to coon. But what I've never been called is attractive. We're black guys who date white girls. Of course her father calls me boy.
We're black guys that date white girls. Of course I lost everything in the divorce.
Fuck! We're black guys who date white girls.
Maybe he can speak for the bourgeois, the bourgeoisie, but as Dr. Rustin pointed out, he doesn't speak for the black masses, and there are more poor black people in this country than there are rich black people. Please. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says that if you try and keep us here against our will and enforce segregation upon us, you're going to have violence throughout the country. You're going to have it whether you like it or not. And when I say Kennedy, I mean John F. Kennedy. The man who promised all the American so-called Negroes who vote what he was going to do for them when he got in office, and has yet to do the first thing that he promised, but has paid off the Negro leadership so that they are silent and say nothing about the promises that he originally made to get Negroes to vote for him. Now, I would like to point out another point before we go any farther. We who are followers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad do not make a choice between integration and segregation. Segregation doesn't enter into the picture at all. We are for separation, not segregation. Segregation, as we're taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, is that which is forced upon inferiors by superiors. Separation is done voluntarily by two equals. When you find an all-white school, they don't call it a segregated school, they call it a separate school. When you find an all-Negro school, they call it a segregated school, because it was set up by the white man. If it was an all-black school that had been set up by the black man himself, run by the black man himself, with the curricula that they follow, put in the school by the black man himself, they would call it a separate school. And it would be just as independent and on equal basis with the white school. People who are defenseless, who are harmless, and because of your indoctrination and brainwashing, brainless, senseless, have no intellect whatsoever of their own where they can think for themselves. And it is because America has taken millions of black people from the East, from their own culture, from their own civilization, and brought them here and stripped them and brought them down to the level of an animal, and then turned around and taught them that they were savages in the jungle, cannibals eating people. When they were caught and brought here, this is supposed to justify the American white man's treatment of these people. It's like taking a horse, putting him in a cage, tying him up, and putting another horse on the outside, and then tell everybody the horse that's in the cage can't run as fast as the one on the outside. And this is what you have done to the American Negro. You have brought us here and stripped us of everything we once had. You've stripped us of our culture, you've stripped us of our language, you've stripped us of our God, our religion, our background. You've cut off our roots, all ties that we once had with our own kind in the East. And after stripping us of our roots and destroying us as a people, making us become dead as a people, mentally and otherwise, then you point the finger of scorn at us and tell the world that we're not ready for freedom, that we're not qualified for freedom. All praise is due to Allah. And it is for this reason that God is bringing America to her knees. It is for this reason that God is going to judge America. It is for this reason that America is doomed, and it is for this reason that we who follow the Honorable Elijah Muhammad feel that our only hope is not integration with a doomed society, but complete separation from a doomed society. If white immigrants can come to this country 50 years ago with nickels and dimes and no education, and come here and pool their little nickels and dimes and no education and set up little stores, develop these stores into larger stores, develop this into an industry which creates job opportunities for whites. Since Lincoln was supposed to have freed the black man 100 years ago, and today the black man, according to the government economists, has spending power of $20 billion per year. We feel that with the black man spending $20 billion a year, not setting up any businesses, not creating any industry, not creating any job opportunities for his own kind, he's not in a moral position to point the finger today at the white man and tell the white man that he's discriminating against him for not giving him a job in factories that he himself set up. If the black man has $20 billion, and these so-called Negro leaders are such geniuses that they can integrate white restaurants and integrate white factories and force themselves into that which the white man has set up, they should use this same ingenuity to show the black people how to pool our wealth and set up something of our own. And then we won't have to force our way into his anymore. One more thing I would like to point out concerning what he said about 125th Street. We don't waste our time on 125th Street, but you can reach more people in the street who want to change than you can in the bourgeoisie society, the bourgeoisie church, and the bourgeoisie circles. Our program is directed toward the man in the street. So we spend our time in the street, and what we do with that man, instead of trying to change the white man and your mind and make you accept us, we change the mind of the black man and make him accept himself. And as soon as he accepts himself, he'll solve his own problem. He won't be trying to force himself into your factory and into your bedroom and into your kitchen.
Because white women have never had any power over men in their lives. Because obviously all the white men in their lives have always had all the power over them. So white women have whiteness over black men. And obviously to be in any sort of control feels good, especially when you're used to never being in control. White women feel safe with black men, not only because of the hypermasculinity that they believe black men exhibit, but because of the whiteness and power they hold over black men. This is why also white women can still be racist and be with black men. And be conservative white women will be married to a black man. And this is why white women love their black sons and hate their black daughters. Black sons give you access to the patriarchy. They give you power, whereas black daughters don't. And because of the power.
Eisenhower, a couple months ago, referred to the situation that the West faces as Armageddon in a speech in Chicago before some distinguished Republicans, if there are such. And he referred to this crisis that America is facing as Armageddon because of the nuclear-tipped missiles that are poised all over the earth. If this destruction is ever turned loose on America, the Negro has no fallout shelters. And white people who have them, you won't even let Negroes in white neighborhoods during peacetime. How will he get in your fallout shelter during wartime? You haven't yet desegregated New Rochelle. How are you going to let Negroes, when you're under attack, into a space that you yourself hardly have room in? Why, you're crazy if you think we even think that you will. So we're not relying on fallout shelter. We're not relying on air raid shelter. As I said earlier, we're relying on God. When God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah with fire, and brimstone, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that that's only a symbolic story designed to paint a prophetic picture of what America is faced with today. Because of the immorality and indecency and corruption that exists in all levels of American society, God has doomed America for destruction. The only salvation or escape is through God and with God. This is what we teach. And despite the fact that we tell you that we rely 100% upon our God to protect us against the trouble that you have gotten yourself in. You didn't get us in this. It's trouble that you have gotten yourself in. If you notice, whenever I refer to America, I don't say we. I don't say I or our. I say you. This is yours. It's not me or mine. And you'll find that this thinking is increasing among black people today. They don't say our government, our president, our Senate, our Congress, nor do they say our troubles. They say your president, your Congress, your Senate, and your troubles.
Let me repeat this. To this day, the FBI does not know where the founder of the Nation of Islam came from before 1930 or where he went after 1934.
That when they arrested the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he said, write in the paper. Now, this is him in the Theology of Time lecture series talking about what the FBI questioned him about when they arrested him in 1942 after the Battle of Los Angeles. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad states, write in the paper if you want and tell the devil what I am telling you. Sounds like some instructions to me. Write in the paper. You're talking to us now. Put it in the paper. Go out in the media and tell the devil what I'm telling you. He said, see if he'll try to deny it. They know it's out there. Talking about the wheel. I sat down and I talked with them years ago about it. Who was them? The FBI. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad is the one who taught the FBI and taught the government what these planes are. They arrested him because he was teaching this strange teaching on the streets. And they did not want him teaching this kind of Islam, especially while they were prosecuting a war. But it's interesting that once they had him behind closed doors, they are asking him about this wheel. And he's telling them, he said, they asked me questions. They have the drawing on a blackboard that they had taken from us when they arrested us. And I had drawn the plane and written explanations on the blackboard. And they took it to the FBI office. They have it there today. They know this to be true, and they admitted to me that this is true. So behind closed doors, they know that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Farrakhan are the representatives of that power. But in the media, outside of those closed doors, they try to make it seem like, oh, we don't know what they are. We don't know the intent. We don't know the purpose. Perhaps it's of alien origin. Perhaps it's some type of monster. Who knows? Maybe it's a demon. That's deliberate misdirection. And don't you get all excited just because last year the government is just now admitting that these planes exist. That ain't nothing. Don't you get excited thinking that, oh, the government is about to come clean just because they admitted the simple fact that these planes exist, which presupposes that they have been lying for the past 70 plus years.